Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's press conference as Coach Monken previews the Black Knights contest at UTSA this Saturday. Coach, if you can open us up with a statement, and then we'll open it up to questions. Reminder to keep your lines muted until I ask for you to unmute and ask a question. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Getting prepared for this game at San Antonio, coming off the win against the Citadel. The Citadel, just give them a lot of credit. Coach Thompson did a great job preparing their team, and particularly defensively. They took advantage of the couple of weeks to get ready for us and really bottled us up on the run game. Fortunately, we were able to make enough plays and hit a play-action pass for a touchdown that gave us the lead that we needed. I thought our defense played really, really well. They got put in a terrible position there at the end of the game, and that's nobody's fault but mine. I was so frustrated with us not being able to run the ball as effectively as we had that, first down play, we tried to throw a play action and got sacked, and then on third down, we wanted to get some of that back and see if we could just sustain the drive and hold on to the ball, and just poor decision on my part. But our defense, I thought, played their butts off all day long. I thought our offense played hard. We just weren't doing a very good job moving them and sustaining blocks, and missed a lot of opportunities. So, but as I said, credit Citadel. They got a tough football team, really good staff, and fortunate to have won and glad to have won. So we move on to this game in San Antonio against a very athletic team. Coach Traylor's done a remarkable job this year in his first season. They're one of the few teams in the country, along with us, that have played 5 games, so they've got a lot of game experience under their belt, and just so impressed with them and how athletic they are at every position. That's across the board. So we certainly get our hands full. I think just even impressed this past weekend in their effort against BYU, who I think everybody recognizes as a really tough physical football team, a good football team, and they're just toe-to-toe with them the whole day. So we got a lot of work to do this week to get ready, and hopefully we'll be up for the task.
All right, Ken Kreitzer, will you start us off with 2 questions?
Good afternoon, Coach. I just wanted to start by asking about your offensive line. You had a left tackle on Saturday, Mason Kolenchuk, in at for some snaps for Lucas McCleary. How is he doing? And also Dean Powell has been in. How is your offensive line at this point? How do you feel that they are handling the season?
I think those guys are doing a good job, and it's a battle for us to keep those guys healthy. Obviously, we've got 4 seniors that start on the offensive line, and all 4 of them have had their bouts with injury, and some of those are ongoing. So there's a rotation at several of those positions. Right now, Mike Johnson probably has played the most and consistently been in the game longer and more snaps than everybody else. Lucas McCleary has been sharing some time at left tackle with Mason Kolenchuk. Mason's played some on the right side in place of J.B. Hunter. Dean Powell, as you mentioned, for Peyton Reeder. And we've been playing Noah Knapp at center along with Connor. So I think all of those guys are very capable, and certainly those guys that are coming up through the ranks are improving, and that's a positive sign. We got other guys. Connor Finucane's played. That's a true freshman. We're really excited about him, his development, his future. So I feel good about that group, and certainly the guys that are coaching those guys. I think we got 2 veteran offensive line coaches that are doing a really good job developing that group.
And Coach, just asking about Texas San Antonio. They've got a good running back, McCormick, 569 yards. They've got a quarterback, Frank Harris, 60-93, 3 touchdown passes. They seem to struggle a little bit on pass defense, giving up 298 yards a game, 13 touchdowns. What's your assessment offensively, defensively of Texas San Antonio?
Oh, I agree with you. They've got not just the running back and the quarterback, but a host of receivers and a big offensive line. They're a very good offense, and that running back, he's enough to scare you just with what he can do, and as you know, running the football is not a one-man show. He's got to have a great supporting cast, and he does. Defensively, very athletic. Coach Nix, their defensive coordinator, is a veteran, has just a long time history and reputation in our profession as one of the best defensive coaches in the country. And so he'll have his team very well prepared, his unit very well prepared. He probably won't have to worry much about the passing defense, because that's not who we are. We've got to run the ball effectively if we're going to hope to have a chance to win, and then use the running game to set up pass plays, and that's just our offense, and he knows that. That's not any secret to anybody. But they've got a very good team. They've got outstanding specialists. They're kickers, they're returners. I'm just overall very impressed with their football team.
Next question from Rich
Thank you,
DeMarco.
Coach.
Thanks, Ken.
Rich.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Thanks,
in my
Coach.
opinion, the roll runner 3-2 mark is not a true indicator.
Coach, so just off of last week's game, and I know that what if you had to distill it down to one or two things that your team needs to get better at from that game, what would they be?
Oh, I think just the obvious that we've got to block and sustain blocks in the running game, and that's an area where we need to improve, and we've done that very well at times this year. We didn't do it particularly well on Saturday, but we've got to do that consistently if we're going to be the offense that we want to be. And then just making good decisions about when to throw it, who to throw it to, who we're supposed to block, when we need to break off a route, when we need to turn our eyes back, when the guy that we're responsible for is blocked in an exchange, that we get our eyes to the next defender, and those just the typical fundamental things in our offense that we're going to work at every day. And defensively, just being able to play good, solid defense and not have those big plays trickle in there. And sometimes guys are just going to make a great play, but having ourselves in position at least to make a long ball like they threw on us on Saturday, a 50-50 ball, just be contested. And they threw a great pass, and it was guy ran right by us. But we've had some pass interference penalties that I think can be avoided. One, maybe being in better position, and two, just some fundamental things. So those are all things that we'll try to improve on and work on, and really that's built into our practices each week.
And Jeff, about UTSA, obviously you're seeing them for the second straight year. They have a new head coach. You spoke about how well they've played and offensively their weapons. What's the biggest difference you've noticed from last year and maybe this year under a new head coach and a new philosophy?
They just look like they're playing very confident football and playing like a team that expects to win, playing fast, executing very well. And they've been in some close ball games. They've won some close ball games, and they've fallen short on some close ball games. And the last two, UAB and the job Bill Clark's done there, they've got an outstanding football team and an established staff, as well as BYU and the kind of football team that they are. So just really impressed with the way they're playing.
Thanks, Coach.
Next question is from Charles Grievous.
Good afternoon, Coach. In my opinion, the roll runner's 3-2 mark is not a true indicator of what this team brings to the table. Obviously, with the close loss last week to BYU, as you mentioned in your opening statement, their offense obviously can score, and their defense and your defense remains, one of the top in the country. So, how significant is it for you to win the time of possession battle, while of course being able to put points on the board in the process?
That is that's certainly a goal of ours, just in general. to try to control the football and keep it away from our opponent. When we've been able to do that, we've had a relative amount of success, and it still counts the same if you score in one play or 21 plays. And we've had drives of one play, and we've had drives of 21 plays. It still counts the same. But to be able to possess the ball and hang on to it and keep it away from the opponent and giving them fewer opportunities, I think it benefits us. And I think that's the philosophy of everybody that runs this offense, and certainly teams that run the football and try to control the ball and control the clock. It's with that in mind. So what we've got to do is finish drives with points, preferably touchdowns, and I guess it really doesn't matter if we have it 5 times or 15 times in a game. If we maximize the opportunities that we have and limit the possessions of the opponent, it gives them less opportunities to score. So, Charles, we're just going to try to continue to do what we want to do best, and that's run the ball and control the ball and keep it away from our opponent. And hopefully, we'll be able to do that on Saturday. We're gonna have a lot of competition with a athletic, very well coached defense in San Antonio. So it'll be a great test for us.
Great. And prior to actually this time last week, you shared that you're looking to get Tyrell Robinson more touches, who to date is the leading rusher for you guys, and who is a legitimate breakaway threat whenever he touches the ball. Going forward, do you see him being utilized more in the passing game, similar to how you used former slot back Kel Walker?
We'll try to continue to use Tyrell in the offense where it fits, and obviously we can't just line him up every play and have him carry the ball. Other people are going to have to carry the ball. We're going to have to spread it around, or it becomes an awfully big tendency. So we're going to use him just kind of where he fits in the offense, and he's benefited from being able to get the ball in his hands some the last few weeks, and I'm glad. I think he's, as you mentioned, a really good player, a fast player, can make people miss in the open field, and has good speed. But there's other guys too, and I'm excited about the group of slot backs he plays with. I think there's some good runners and blockers and pass catchers in that group. So we'll just see. We'll see how the calls and where he's aligned plays out for him in the passing game. But again, we short of just putting a blue light on top of his head and letting everybody in the stadium know where he is, we've got to play offense and just kind of let him be a part of it.
Great. Thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Charles.
Next question's from Ken McMillan.
Hi, Jeff. Would you say that cohesion is the most important aspect of offensive line play, and how much has that been thrown off by the injuries?
Cohesion's certainly very important for all those guys to play as a single unit. But it just isn't the offensive line. Our offense relies on the blocking of pretty much everybody on the field. Quarterback not very often, but every once in a while. Those receivers, the slots, the B-backs, they all work together with the offensive line. So it's really got to be a synchronization of the entire offense in blocking the right people and being able to handle the double teams where they're responsible for two defenders, and they work with each other to sort out who's going to block who. The injuries have not affected, I don't think, our ability to be able to run the offense. But there are starters and there are finishers. There's guys that are at the top of their position on the depth chart for a reason, because we feel like they give us the best chance to win, certainly when they're healthy. that helps. And I think there's other guys in our program that can jump in there and play and be effective as well. So I don't lack confidence in our backups when they come in, but certainly we're excited to be able to trot our typical 11 starters out there and be able to play. I think that puts us at our best.
Jeff, looking at the replay the other day, and I noted it was noted by the CBS announcer, were there troubles with the handoffs, whether it be timing or the proper lanes being taken by the running back?
We did a couple of times where the running back ran into the quarterback. The quarterback's got to clear for the midline track, and those were the ones where we had the most problems. We had one where the guard was pulling on a play, and he was a little bit deep, and he ran into the quarterback and kind of pushed the quarterback into the track of the fullback. So it did. It looked bad 2 or 3 times. We just looked like we were really out of sync there. But that hasn't been a problem this year. It was a problem on Saturday, and that's I think easily correctable.
Okay, so that was just an anomaly.
Oh, I don't know if it's an anomaly. It'll probably happen again, but it happens at times throughout the season. It just sometimes the quarterback doesn't clear. He may not get the snap real clean and doesn't get cleared all the way out of the way. Sometimes the B-back might line up a little bit too close to the line of scrimmage and gets on him too quick. As I said, there's different things that happen that create that, but it's not. It happens in practice, but that's part of the offense. We're not. You see the teams that take a shotgun snap and read a back in the backfield. There's times where they'll throw a shotgun snap back there, and the quarterback will have to reach in front of the back, or it'll hit the back, or the back or the quarterback will go the wrong direction. There's mishaps that happen. A little bit probably more noticeable when you're under center and there's a fullback running as fast as he can right at the butt of the center, and you got to get out of the way.
Thanks, Jeff.
Questions from Ken Kreitzer?
Yes, Coach. I'd just like to ask you about your quarterback situation. Christian Anderson and Jamel Jones, if they're able to play, if you expect on Saturday. Also, Maurice Allen got into play the last drive Saturday. Where do you think he is in his development? Is he ready to play a longer period of time if need be?
So I'll start with Maurice Ballon. He's just a guy that's developed in the program. He was a scout team player a year ago. Didn't really get any snaps on Saturdays at all, but he's just an athletic kid and has improved a lot. And obviously had to go in there on Saturday after Jamel got banged up and finished the game out for us and did a nice job. So I'm excited about his development. He's going to get better the more he plays. And hopefully he won't have to play because we got other quarterbacks that are ahead of him on the depth chart and have more experience. So Jamel got banged up on Saturday, and we're hopeful he's going to be all right. Christian is going to practice again today and coming off that injury from a week ago, so we expect him to be ready. And we'll see how the week goes and who we expect to have as a starter. And that decision probably won't be made until later on this week.
Sure. Just like to ask you, Coach, about your defensive line. Kobana Bonsu was out last week, and Ryan Duran, the junior, was in. How do you feel Ryan Duran did, and how your defensive line is at this point in the season?
Well, I was most excited about Duran and the kick block. That's the second one he's had this year, and just a big, long guy. And I can't say enough for how excited I am and about his improvement. Really, the first 2 years, he was a scout team player as a freshman and really a developmental guy a year ago. And this offseason, he just really turned a corner. and gained more weight and more muscle mass, and is playing really well. And I'm excited about him. Kobina Bonsu is a guy that's been around for a while. He's played a lot of football for us, and wasn't able to play Saturday. There's an administrative issue with academy related, but we expect him to be back at some point. So I'm really happy with both of those guys, and our defensive line. Amadeo West, who's a veteran player, Nolan Cockrell, I think, is playing really well. So there's some guys there up front that I think are doing a good job.
Thank you, Coach.
Got it, Ken.
Questions from Ken McMillan.
Yes, Jeff. Texas has always had an important place in recruiting for Army. I know that fans will be, denied this weekend, but just how much of an impact is it for recruiting and getting the word out about West Point when you go to visit places in Texas?
Texas is certainly an important recruiting ground for us. We have 3 of our coaches that share the state of Texas, so we spend a lot of time down there and invest a lot in recruiting that state. But it's got outstanding high school football. Football's very important in the culture of that state and in the high schools there, and so we've really benefited from having some good players come from the state of Texas, and we're excited to go back there and be able to play in that state. I think those are things that continue to be opportunities for us to use in recruiting for our players who are on our team that get to go back home. That's exciting for them, when you go play in Texas, you're going to play against a bunch of Texas players, which they have, and there's a lot of good football players in that state. There's a lot of good football players on the UTSA team, as there are on teams throughout the that state of Texas. There's 9 Division I FBS programs in that state. It's unbelievable, and there's still enough players to go around for other people to come in there and recruit. So it's a challenge, but I think playing here, playing in Army, being a part of this program, we're a national school, and that's one of the exciting things about being an independent program is that our schedule changes from year to year. We have opportunities to touch different parts of the country and different states, and take our players home at different times throughout their career, and that makes us different. And I think it's a pretty special opportunity, and one of the things that's unique and I think attractive about this school and our players wanting to come here and play.
Jeff, you were very grateful getting a new schedule drawn up this year. Isn't it an advantage getting a chance to play a team that you saw just last year?
They got a different coaching staff, so I don't know if there's a real advantage. We don't have a different coaching staff on offense, so maybe that's an advantage for them. They know exactly what we're going to do on offense, but we haven't seen them really. A lot of the same players. As I said, really good athletes, and they have some guys that have changed positions. They got a great big corner, 6'5" corner that was a wide receiver last year that is really fast. And I mean, I wish we had 6'5" wide receivers to spare to put in the secondary. That tells you the kind of athletes they have and the talent pool that they're working with. So I don't know that there's any advantages having played them a year ago.
And Jeff, just one more. The Jamel Jones the other day, it was too early to evaluate. How do you think he did Saturday? And does his? I know he's played this year, but the fact that he started and played more snaps, does the rest of the team have to get used to him as far as the running backs and the line?
No, I don't think so. Our offense doesn't change from one quarterback to the next. What we do is what we do, and there's likely, I would think that's the case with most schools, that they've recruited quarterbacks to play in their system, and they fit those guys into the system. They don't build a system around the quarterback, and that's the case here. Every one of the guys we've got in our program we recruited because we felt like they were good enough to be would at some point be good enough to be our starting quarterback, and so what we call with Jamel in the game isn't any different than what we would call with Jabari or Christian or any other quarterbacks that we've had.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.